Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Real Talks for the show today. I'm your host, David Steele. Ah, the beauty of technology, guys. Sometimes we just make serious mistakes, and that's what I did. I so for I mean, I wish somebody had told me this. I ended up finding out after the show was over. The mic was muted, so nobody could hear me. Nonetheless, we've got that all corrected. We've got that all figured out. Um, so welcome again to Real Talks. I'm your host, David Steele. Kyle has a day off, so he'll be back joining us later this week. Um, so today is kind of a slow day as far as um, Hollywood is concerned. So what will end up happening is we have a couple stories. Um, and um, so we're just going to talk about let's dive right into it because we don't have any off the tops. We don't have anything else to go over before we get into it. So let's just do it. So the first story of the day, we were on for 4 hours yesterday. Kyle and myself, and then I had Oscar predictor Matthew Anderson on, who was amazing, and he predicted a lot of these um, categories. So we're going to talk about the Oscar fallout first. And so this is something it happens every year. So the nominations are what everybody looks forward to every single year because they go through, a lot to make these movies. They go through a lot to get them out to the masses, and then we see them. And so that being said, um, we had a lot of we had three films really that really that really did well. So Everything Everywhere All at Once got 11 nominations. All Quiet on the Western Front and The Banshees of Inisherin got 9 nominations. Um, so there were some other nominations that were a little suspect, to say the least. And we'll get into that in a couple minutes. So overall, though, it wasn't that bad of a day. So let's get to the winners and losers, if you will. So the winners, okay, I would say one of the major winners is All Quiet on the Western Front. So All Quiet basically, um, they got 9 nominations, and I mean that's a based off the book, okay, All Quiet on the Western Front, and um, so that was a German film, did really well. So that will be interesting to see how that does Oscar night. The other one was Banshee of Inisherin, that had 9 nominations, did really well. Um, so a lot of those are above the line too, like Best Director, Best Actor, and so on. There were Best Supporting Actor. Um, so Everything Everywhere All at Once was the big winner though. So that led everybody with 11 nominations. This is a movie that is going to just, I say it all the time. There's always one darling of the Academy every single year, whether you go back to La La Land, whether you go back to American Hustle that had 10, whatever it is, there's always one darling. And that being said, okay, this had double-digit nominations. I really do hope that this does well, but we'll see. So it's going to be one of those things. Um, so let's talk about some of the other takeaways that were not the best. Okay. So, um, as I said, everything just blew everybody away. Okay, so let's talk about Best Actor first. So Best Actor was one of those that I think they had 3 of them that were just locks all day long, and that was Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Colin Farrell for Banshees, and Austin Butler for Elvis. A lot of people had Bill Knightley in there for Living. The one wild card, if you will, was Top Gun Maverick, or not Top Gun Maverick, Tom Cruise. Was he going to get in there for Best Actor and get another nomination, or who was going to take his place? Well, the Academy said no. We're not going to put Tom Cruise in there. We're going to put Paul Mescal in there, and Aftersun really picked up some momentum. So that was interesting to see. So Paul Mescal got the fifth spot, and I think it was well deserving. I mean, I didn't really have a problem with that. While I could see Tom Cruise getting in there, it wasn't the end of the world that he didn't. So let's move to Best Actress, and this is where I think a lot of um, hoopla was, if you will. So we had two or three locks, if you will. We had Kate Blanchett for Tar. We had Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere at Once. Those weren't the questions. Who were going to get the other? So the third lock, if you will, would have been Anna de Armas, which she did get in with for Blonde, and we'll get into that in a couple minutes. And then um, the other one, okay. So Michelle Williams, that many going back many months, people said, okay, where is she going to land? Is she going to be in Best Supporting Actress, Best Actress? What is she going to do? Wherever she goes is going to be an open slot. Well, she went into Best Actress. And so everybody said, well, who gets the fifth spot? Now, for me, okay, personally speaking, I wanted to see Viola Davis in there. Okay. I think she's well deserving of it. I think she knocked it out of the park in The Woman King. And I think that was a no brainer. The Academy thought otherwise, though. And they nominated Andrea Riseborough, this actress who was in a small little film. And when I say small, it only grossed about $20,000. Okay. And that's called To Leslie. And so essentially what ended up happening was Kate Winslet had made a speech saying she's one of the best actresses she's ever seen. And it just gained momentum and swelled and swelled and swelled. And next thing you knew, she was getting an Oscar nomination, which really said something to the extent of, why aren't you putting Viola Davis in there? Okay. And that really, um, it spoke volumes essentially, because they were saying, we're not going to reward somebody who, was African American. Um, and The Woman King got shut out of everything, guys. It's not like this was a film that just missed the best actor. No, this got shut out of everything. Screenplay, picture, actress. I mean, across the board. It's really disheartening to see. It really, really is. I love the fact Michelle Yeoh's in there. Okay, I think that she was amazing in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Um, so, and like I said, it's a two-woman race right now: Kate Blanchett and Michelle Yeoh. Now, there's another significant thing here, and that is Anna de Armas getting it. And you say, well, why? Because she's the first actress ever to get in for an NC-17 film, and even the film was absolute crap. Okay, she still snuck in. And that makes you wonder, well, and by the way, nobody's going to go out and say, oh, we're all going to do NC-17 films. No. But what does happen is there's precedent. There's precedent here. And what ends up happening is that the next time somebody wants to try and get in, they may think about doing an NC-17 film. Okay. The other thing, too, is this Andrea Riseborough, as I said earlier, that should have been Viola Davis' spot. I'm sorry. That's just me personally. And, you know, I mean, I'm sure she's a great actress. I'm no doubt in my mind. But the way that she got in and how she got in, that's what I have a problem with, and a lot of people have a problem with. Um, so we'll see. And as I said, we'll see how this all shakes out. I mean, I think that the other couple categories, there weren't that many surprises. Best director. I mean, once again, the director of The Woman King shut out. Okay, it was Todd Field for Tar, Steven Spielberg for The Fablemans, Martin McDonough for Banshees, the Daniels for Everything Everywhere at Once, and the director of Triangle of Sadness. So the other one that was really interesting too was Best Supporting Actress, and this was interesting because okay that Carrie Condon was a no-brainer. Okay, Angela Bassett is probably the front runner right now. Jamie Lee Curtis, I was so happy to see her get her nomination. You finally have Hung Cho for The Whale and Stephanie Chu for Everything Everywhere All at Once. What's significant about this is not only is Angela Bassett the favorite right now, okay, but she could be the first woman to ever win a Academy Award above the line for Marvel, which would be huge. I mean, there have been some good performances, but nothing like hers. And that's going to be the clip that you're going to see Oscar night and everything else. And I loved it, and I really hope that she wins. And so that in itself is fantastic. I think, like I said, Best Supporting Actor is a lock. Although, I mean, there were a couple of interesting choices. I mean, Kiwai Kwan is your favorite. I mean, if he doesn't win, there needs to be an investigation. Um, Brendan Gleeson for Banshees, Judd Hurst for The Fablemans, Brian Tyrese Henry for Causeway, and Barry Cogden for Banshees. I think that Brendan's nomination and Barry's kind of cancel each other out. Okay. Um, but the two spots that remain, okay, are Judd Hurst and Brian. So I don't know. I mean, I truth be told, I didn't get a chance to see the Fablemans, but from what I'm told, he only had really one or two good scenes in it to really um, make his mark. So I don't know. But overall, what I would say is this, okay, that I think that there needs to be better representation, hands down. You could have easily nominated Viola Davis. I'm not saying it had to be 5 or 6 nominations, although that would have been fantastic. They wouldn't have done that. But that would have been that would have been really great to see. I think that the fact that she was omitted speaks volumes. And so, we'll move on, and hopefully, I mean, look, Viola Davis is going to continue doing fantastic, fantastic, fantastic work. I have no doubt in my mind. And she's just going to keep killing it. So I can't wait to see what she does next. So, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the Oscar nominations yesterday? Did you like them? Who do you think got snubbed? Who do you think is going to win? Give me your thoughts down in the comment section. I'm really, really curious to see what you think. Okay, so let's move to the other big nominations that came out today, and that was the WGA. Now, I have to preface it by saying this: we have all of these different associations. Okay, we've got SAG, which is the Screen Actors Guild. We've got the WGA, which is the Writers Guild of America. We have the PGA, which is the Producers Guild of America. We've got the DGA, which is the Directors Guild of America. We have all these different guilds. The USC scripters that came out about a week ago. So everything is different. And of course, you've got the Academy of Motion Pictures Sciences. So the WGAs, as I said, the Writers Guild of America, and they nominate their biggest ones, okay, is Best Documentary, which we're not going to cover here today. But we are going to cover the original screenplay and the adapted screenplay. Now, I found it fascinating that we're going to see, I mean, a couple here are not shockers. Okay, let's just be honest. Everything Everywhere All at Once is not a shocker. The Fablemans is not a shocker. I think The Menu, which by the way didn't get any love, well, I mean, she got the nomination for The Whale, but she didn't get it for, she was that good that she was in 2 good performances. I love The Menu. I think it was just fantastic. So that got nominated for WGA. And then you had Nope, which I loved. I loved. And then, of course, you had Kate Blanchett and Tar. So I think what this says is this, that the fact is that you're having, first of all, I'm really, really happy for Jordan Peele. I'm really happy for Jordan Peele because his work is getting recognized. And I just, it was funny. A couple weeks ago, I just had the pleasure of sitting down and watching for the very first time Get Out. And I was blown away. Absolutely blown away. And I loved it. I know he's only made 3 films. Don't get me wrong. He's only made Get Out, Us, and Nope. But it was amazing. That being said, um, I love Nope. I'm so happy he got nominated here. I wish he got nominated at the Oscars, but he does have an Oscar for Get Out. So, you know, um, but what makes Jordan Peele so good is he's so eclectic. He's so dynamic, and he's totally different. Okay, um, he can do something like a Get Out that's brutally honest, that's just in your face, and just amazing. Okay, and then he can turn around and do something like a Nope that is just totally, totally different. And it's just one of those things where you go, wow. And I loved it. I'm so happy he got the nomination. He deserved the nomination. Um, and I think that, you know, I would honestly, I would like to really, really, I'd like to see either Nope or The Menu win. Because let's face it, one of those other 3 are there, in that category. And one of those 3 is probably going to end up winning on Oscar night. So I'd like to see a little change of pace in how that's done. Um, so yeah, I was so happy that they recognized some different material than what was usually there. So let's move on to Best Adapted Screenplay. And Best Adapted Screenplay, once again, a few of these were there, okay, if you will. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which, by the way, did not get a Best Picture nomination. Okay, let's make that perfectly clear. There were only 2 sequels that got nominated this year: Top Gun Maverick and Avatar: The Way of Water. So, um, that was interesting. I mean, of course, you had Angela Bassett, but and it got effects and everything else, but that's it. Glass Onion, loved Glass Onion. Loved Glass Onion. Was it as good as Knives Out? No, no. I mean, Knives Out was just unbelievable. But this was a fantastic change of pace. Once again, Ryan Johnson did a phenomenal job. You saw a more autumn, you know, type of fallish type of seasonal murder mystery, if you will, in Get Out, or not Get Out. I'm sorry, thinking Get Out in Knives Out, to a completely open, very spacious type of thing with Glass Onion. And it's open. The light is just, and the production design, it was just unbelievable. So, that was great to see that got nominated. And She Said, I love She Said. Anybody who knows me, I will write home all day long about this movie. This movie, it so underperformed, but it is so one of the best movies of the year. Um, because at the end of the day, it underperformed in my opinion for a couple of reasons. Number one, you had a lot of great films out at the time. So I think Black Panther was out, and there was a couple others, and they said, "Well, what are we going to go see? We can either go see Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, or we can go see this little film called She Said." So yeah, and that just it didn't go over well. Number two, it didn't have a headlining name, right? I mean, usually you had Carrie Mulligan, who I love, who's a great actress. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the person to bring people in, put butts in the seat. And number three, at the end of the day, it's a story material. Okay, this is about the Harvey Weinstein thing, the debacle with him, and how it was got unraveled. And while that's a niche kind of topic, it's still important. And I'm not disputing that. All I'm saying is you have to really be a movie fan. Okay. in order to really like that. A lot of people, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna. This may rub people the wrong way. A lot of people didn't know about it, so they, And by the way, the marketing here was not good. I'll say that too. The marketing was horrible for this movie. It did not have. And finally, the last thing I'll say is this: it was a movie about somebody who was powerful in the industry that, you know, you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. Because the next time an actress or an actor goes in for, especially an actress goes in for a job, they've got to wonder, oh, did I not get the part because I supported this movie? So, that being said, the fact that Ashley Judd was in it and she was, she did it and it was amazing. I love this movie all day long. I'll rave about it till the end of time. So the final two nominees we had was Top Gun Maverick, which was not a surprise to anybody, and Women Talking. And I think Women Talking was it snuck in for Best Picture at the Oscars for a nomination. Still not getting enough love. So I'm really glad the WGA really took the time out to um, recognize films like The Menu, like Nope, like Women Talking, that said, hey, listen, we see you. We understand you. You put in great work. Um, let's let's give you the recognition that you deserve. So, um, guys, what do you think about this? Who do you think is going to win Best Original Screenplay at the WGAs? Who do you think is going to win Best Adapted Screenplay at the WGAs? Do you think they got the nominations right? If not, tell me who you would have put in their place. Leave your thoughts down in the comments for me. Okay, guys. So as I said, this is going to be a really shortish kind of show today. It's the day after the Oscars, so it's all buzz and the aftermath and after all that. So our final topic today is about a little article that that was in Rolling Stone, and it was um, so Daisy Ridley sat down with Rolling Stone, the magazine, and so essentially she was talking about the Rise of Skywalker and the retcon of it. And so, as a lot of people knew, okay, so let me preface by saying this. The Last Jedi is one of the most divisive films in the Star Wars universe. It just is. Okay? Whether you like it or whether you don't like it, it is. The fact is that originally J.J. Abrams wanted Rey to be a nobody, kind of like Anakin when he was a kid. Where did she come from? That didn't really matter. So, as I said, she sat down with Rolling Stone, and she said when JJ was the one who was like, she is no one. It wasn't like the Last Jedi where that was the message. What was interesting about the last one for me was that you could be a hero and not come from anywhere, or you could be a hero and come from literally the worst person in the world. You're not your parents, you're not your grandparents, you're not your bloodline, you're not your generations before you. So it was sure, but it's beyond my pay grade, she said. I say the words, do the thing. I love the version of it. You can be anyone you want to be. I also love the version where you can rectify wrongs and can't help what you're born into. So she goes on and, she, gives a couple other sound bites talking about how um, the world is a crazy place. It's important to tune out the stuff, not just with Star Wars, but with everything. You try and be in the moment and enjoy what it is because life moves too quickly. Everyone knows how things are and how they can be handled, she said. We're all living with that, with people saying more than they need to and commenting on more than they need to. It's so individual. Find the good in it and enjoy it. So I think at the end of the day, what she was really trying to say is, first of all, it can go either way, right? You can be born into a really, really bad situation and You have no choice, essentially, what your lineage is. Okay. Um, Number two, what she was saying is, I was just doing my job. I mean, in this quote, kind of describes it here as I go back. I just say the words, do the thing. I do love the version where you can be anyone you want to be, but I also love the version where you can rectify wrongs and can't help what you're born into. So I think the fact is that, you know, the openness of it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, is that what she really liked about the character, even though the movie was not good. Okay. Even though it made $1 billion, and yes, I know I say that a lot, but just because it makes X amount of money doesn't mean it's good or a bad film. And lastly, I think what she was saying in the article, and this is where I think is the most important portion of this, guys, is she was basically saying, look, take it for what it is. Okay. Um, we're all living in that, and with people saying more than they need to and commenting on more than they need to, it's so individual. Here's the key line, guys. Find the good in it and enjoy it. Okay. And I think that's what needs to happen. And not just Star Wars fandom, all kinds of fandom. Whether it's MCU, whether it's, DC, whether it's Star Wars, it doesn't matter. You have to find the good in it. And that is what it go into this movie with an open mind. Don't go into it thinking, oh, I'm gonna hate this. Because immediately, if you go in there with that mindset, you're gonna hate it, no matter what is put on the screen. So I think that's an important key. Find the good in it and recognize it for what it is. And that's, you know, being able to separate the art from the artist. And that is the most important thing. So I did find it interesting though that she did come out a couple years later after the fact. Um, so I mean, she was one of the biggest people in the world for quite a few years. You know, so it's interesting to say the least. Okay, guys. So as I said, um, it was a short show. I can't believe what I did. Technical. We'll chalk it up to technical difficulties, right? Um, so we have a bunch of stuff coming up on the horizon for you in the next couple weeks. Okay. Um, we're going to be doing, Kyle and I are going to be doing a video on our personal top 5 film franchises. And then we have the roundup coming for you starting Friday. So check that out. Um, in a little less than 3 weeks, we have the new Ant-Man movie coming out, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So we're going to be, doing a spoiler cast for that and reviewing that for you guys. Also, um, you know, we've got at the beginning of March, we have Creed 3. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget Sunday, guys. Tune back in here every single Sunday. It's myself, it's Tyler, it's Kyle. We have Destiny Jackson from Deadline, one of the major trades in Hollywood, and we're going to be talking all about The Last of Us. So stay tuned for that. We'll have a blast doing that. Um, and then as the year goes, we're going to have more and more great content for you. We've got, as I said, Creed 3. Then, April. So April and May is really going to start the blockbuster season again. We've got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We've got Fast 10. Okay. We have June is going to be packed. We've got, Across the Spider Verse. We've got The Flash. We've got Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I still don't like that title, but nonetheless, that's what they're calling it. And then July, we've got a big July for you. We've got, Oppenheimer is coming out. One of the biggest movies, if not the biggest movie in not only the franchise but of all time, going to be coming out, and that's Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. Stay tuned here. Come back here and watch that spoiler cast, guys. As I can't say it enough, hit that like and subscribe button. You're going to be getting all this stuff. There's no paywall. The other thing too is we've got a lot of good movies for the rest of the year. And don't forget, every single month you're going to be getting the Perfect Movie series. Okay, that is we just did, Silence and Lambs this month, coming in next week, as a matter of fact, start of next week, February. My God, I can't believe we're in February already. Um, we're going to have our next perfect movie, and that is Captain America the Winter Soldier. And then the second week, we're going to have the first reactions, and that's going to be Fargo. So I got to sit down and watch Fargo. And yeah, guys, there's so much content coming away. So stay tuned for that. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. I want to get this out to as many people as possible. Um, and yeah, so that's going to do it for today. Do the 3 things we need to do: be safe, be careful, and have a great day. So I am David Steele, and you have been watching Real Talks. Bye bye, guys.